The big thing to remember here is that your brain at every moment of your life is trying to protect you as best it can. And your subconscious mind is constantly patterning behind the scenes. You are constantly getting subconscious patterning that pops up to the front of your mind, and the front of your mind will justify what information it gets. It tells itself a story about this information. But the reality is that your subconscious mind just gave you a pattern and it was trying to help you out, but it doesn't always know higher level context. Meaning that if you grew up in really toxic, abusive, marginalized environments, it is very hard to get your brain to stop patterning for that. And as such, your brain is trying to pattern for things that are familiar and that are like those toxic upbringings. Now, why is this? Because ultimately, most people are supposed to be raised in an environment that is good and healthy and nurturing. And so we are wired very often to look for the patterns that we found in childhood, that sense of belonging, that sense of home, that sense of love and warmth and good things. Like, that's what's supposed to happen. A lot of us know that's not what happened in our childhoods, right? A lot of us know that's not what happened. So we don't actually have that, like the natural human wiring of looking for what was home and comforting and things like that is there, but now it's calibrated to fucked up shit. It's calibrated to fucked up shit. And so when your brain is calibrated to that fucked up shit, it's looking for those patterns in adulthood. It's looking for those patterns in what kind of person you are attracted to, as a friend, as a partner, as a boss, as a corporation. And I didn't realize how pervasive it was for me because I had figured out, okay, how to fix the relationship part. And then it took me a while to figure the friendship part out. And now I'm realizing, oh, I got to be very careful on a professional level. After having a few flop after flop after flop of professional movement forward, I realized, oh, I'm doing that too on a professional level. They're much more subdued, they're much more covert, but they're the same kinds of like malignant narcissists I grew up around. Shit. So, how do we fix this? We began to fix this by recognizing, one, that we're doing it, that our brains have calibrated and set itself to the wrong level. And so the things that we find that are like very attractive to us, the people we find that are very attractive, the situations, the dynamics, the social environments may actually be a bad option for us. We may need to actually step outside of our own comfort zones and do something new. The problem is, our brain is going, but new is scary. New is scary. I don't know how to predict good things. I know how to predict bad things. I'm going to keep attracting you to the bad things because I know how to handle the bad things. I don't know how to handle good things. I don't know how to handle the nuance of feeling like this like slow burn energy. I don't know how to do that. I'm traumatized. My thresholds are up here. I need somebody who I can feel is attracted to me up here. But the people who are attracted to you up here are not okay in the head. They're not okay. They're abusers. They're narcissists. They're malignant folks who have enough intensity that you suddenly realize they like you, as opposed to like the normal slow build of intimacy, right? This is because your brain is trying to give you things that are familiar to you. Whatever level of person or dynamic or abuser that you've dealt with, it's trying to give you that, and that's created a higher threshold of like what you're able to notice. What we have to do is work to recalibrate your system to notice the other things. And for a while, it's going to feel like when you are engaging in like warmth in a community, you're going to feel like you're left out in the cold. You're going to feel like you're looking at a fireplace behind plexiglass. You're going to be looking at a TV representation of a fireplace. You can see the light. You can see that there's warmth there, but you're not feeling it. You're not feeling it. And this is the really hard part, because a lot of people immediately go, I feel on the outside looking in. I'm out of this. No one loves me. I feel like the people here are treating me nice, but I'm pretty sure they just don't like me because I can't feel any of this. I can't internalize any of that. I can't sense that these people actually like me or that good things are happening, because your brain doesn't know how to register for those things yet. Its threshold level is up here, and it takes a very long time to recalibrate it to like normal, healthy boundaried levels of understanding warmth and connection and intimacy and things like that. It takes a while for our brains to kind of recalibrate to that. And so that takes work. And a lot of people get to this point of like, I feel like I'm on the outside. I'm going to go find somebody who's really interested in me. And they go right back into that cycle of the familiar pattern. That familiar pattern, again, whether it's friendship or bosses or anything else, is going to be a problem because, again, it's looking for what you know. And what you know is harm and abuse and certain types of people who do those kinds of things. Now, with that, how do we break this? We break this by deciding we're going to look for the opposite. Find out the traits of the people that you typically go for, friends, partners, lovers, social situations, whatever else, and write the opposite. Who are you looking for then? Yes, you may not feel resonance with these people immediately because, again, those people are probably more likely to be healthier, and so you're not going to feel it as readily. You're not going to feel clicked in with them. It's going to take time and effort and maybe a couple changeovers of you messing things up as you learn how to recalibrate yourself. And also then recognize that when you get that intense flood of like, oh my God, it feels like home, remind yourself that's a red flag. Home was not a good place. Home was not a safe place. Home was not a good thing. I need to work on this. Obviously, therapy is very helpful in terms of dealing with the people who come to you. There's usually two dynamics here. Usually this is somebody who gets rescued a lot. They play the helpless fawn, the helpless gazelle, or they're like, I am in this situation, no one rescues me. I am the one that everyone comes to be rescued. So this is also a trauma thing. A lot of times that we end up being like either the one that is perpetually the victim that gets rescued by yet another noble knight who is also usually a bad guy, or we are the person who everyone comes to for everything, and they treat us like a guru or the psych friend and stuff like that. And so setting those boundaries, recognizing how much these people are not actually helping you, they're not healthy for you, they are doing a one-sided parasitic relationship. Just like the person who's supposedly saving you in this dynamic is not actually saving you, they're undermining your ability to build your sense of self, right? Those people who are saving you very often are making sure you don't develop a sense of competency in trusting yourself. The people who come to you like a guru are taking a one-way parasitic ride so that you can distract yourself from your current troubles by taking care of theirs. And you are not building anything in terms of yourself because you are constantly overgiving. And how do we deal with that? We start setting boundaries. We start setting boundaries. We recognize that they are taking from you. They are taking, and as communal as I am, as much as I believe we should be taking care of the community, those people don't want to help themselves. They want to be parasitic. There are people who genuinely need help, but the reality is you do not have anything to give them right now. You don't. You do not have anything to give them. And so figuring out how do I will deal with the people who are already in my life later. Let's set boundaries with people who are wanting to enter my life and I don't know yet. Sometimes that's easier, right? Working on figuring out those boundaries, working on saying no to people, working on disappointing people, working on being able to do that. Then we can work towards the sense of self and trust in self enough to actually have those conversations with people who maybe already exist in your life. And determine whether those people are actually helping you or hurting you, and whether or not you need to change those people that are around you. Like switch them out for something that is going to actually better suit where you're headed. But it's a complex process. So feel free to ask questions. Obviously, this is kind of a long video, but it's a very complex process. It's a very complex situation to try and understand your own wiring, that the way you've been conditioned throughout your life has put you in a position where you are pinging as a good thing to the worst possible option for you if you're not wanting to stay in abusive cycles.